Today is the Provo City School District Board of Education, and we're meeting at 280 West, 940 North in Provo, Utah. We're going to begin our business meeting this evening with a roll call. We'll start down here with Devin.
Devin Daly, Business Administrator.
Lisa Boyce, Board Member.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
Jennifer Partridge, Board Vice President.
Rebecca Nielsen, Board President.
Wendy Dow, Superintendent.
Meg Van Wagenen, Board Member.
Gina Hales, Board Member.
Melanie Hall, Board Member.
And we have our two new student board members with us today, so thanks for being here. And for anyone else who's joining us in person or online, we're grateful to have you. Is there a motion to go ahead and convene our business meeting today?
I move that we convene our business meeting.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Partridge. We are now in our business meeting. Okay, we're going to start with some opening remarks tonight given by Board Member Melanie Hall.
Good evening. On July 29th, we opened our newest school, Shoreline Middle School, and President Rebecca Nielsen gave a prayer. Was it a prayer or was it a?
More like a proverb-ish kind of thing. Yeah,
proverb thing.
I was modeling it after like an old Irish proverb.
An old Irish proverb. Well, I'm going to follow suit and give an opening prayer for the first day of school. So anyway, a blessing for the school year. May the road rise up to meet us. May the wind be always at our backs. May the sun shine warm upon our faces and the rain fall soft, not like it was just doing, upon our fields. May our hearts be filled with kindness and our minds with the light of knowledge. May we embrace each day with curiosity and joy and find strength in every challenge we face. Bless our teachers with patience and wisdom and our students with eagerness to learn. May we work together in harmony and respect and build a community of care and support. May we strive for excellence in all we do, and may this year be filled with growth and grace, guided by the spirit of friendship and understanding as we embark on this journey together. So best of luck and have a wonderful year ahead.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Okay, and we'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance led today by our Assistant Superintendent, Daryl Jensen.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on to our community connections portion. We'll have a school report tonight given by Coordinator Nikki Wake from Adult Education. And real quick, while that's happening, just for anyone who's here who wants to give public comment, while Nikki's coming up, there's forms over here on this table that need to be filled out and handed to our Secretary, Bonnie Totkus, if you want to give public input. Okay, Nikki.
Hi, how are you? So thank you for this opportunity to just talk a little bit about the Provo Adult Education Program. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the things that we do. And so we do offer 3 different services, and so I'm just going to talk a little bit about each of those. The first one is adult basic education, and so these are services for students whose skill level is below the high school level. So this would be some remediation in math and reading. The next service we offer is adult secondary education, and this is this and the other one are probably a little bit more visible than the first one. So adult secondary education, so this is helping students who left high school at some point and now they've decided that they want to come back and they want to earn their diploma. So these are courses that are offered at the high school level that meet the local requirements. And then we also offer English language acquisition, and so this program is offered to students that are non-native English speakers, and it is a very, very popular program. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our stats. So that first number, total enrollments. So those are the number of people that actually enrolled. That's different than the participants. So we had over 1,000 students enroll, but a participant had to stay for at least 12 hours. So you can see that we do have some people that got excited about adult education and they even came and filled out the forms, but then life got in the way. So, and then of those 758 students, you can see that 534 were ESL students and 224 were ABE, adult secondary education students. So we last year received 266 level gains, and so I just want to explain what that is. Anytime a student enrolls in adult education, they're given an assessment test. So for the English language learners, it's an English language assessment, and it places them on a level, and there are 6 levels. And when a student enrolls in the ABE or the ASE program, they're given an assessment test in both math and reading, and so they're given this beginning level. So after between 50 and 100 hours of instruction, the students are tested again, and so what we're looking for is growth. And so that 266 is telling you that of all the students that we post-tested, 266 of them went up a level. Yay!
Awesome.
And,
Awesome.
and then also in 24, we had a total of 70 graduates, and that's including both credit and GED, because in the state of Utah, a GED is considered a completion diploma. Okay, and so our staff consists of a coordinator, an ESL manager. We have 6 hourly office assistants, 10 hourly ESL teachers, 1 full-time ABE ASE teacher, and then 3 hourly ABE ASE teachers and 2 hourly ABE ASE instructional assistants. So I just have some numbers here. So I'll just point out a few things that I've noticed. So on age, you can see that the ABE ASE skews just a little bit younger than the ESL students. And you can also see that we skew just a little bit more female than male. Oh, and so back on the age, does anybody, don't you love guessing games? Does anybody want to guess how old our oldest student is last year?
97.
Close, 88.
Wow.
Awesome.
You go, right?
Awesome.
Okay, and then also, so you can see looking at race and that, sorry, I couldn't fit it, that HAPI, that's Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. So you can see our largest group is Hispanic and then followed by white. So in just an interesting note, we did have 30 students at Provo Adult Education that had IEPs last year. And so we do have 2 locations. So we have a location next to Independence High School, and that's where the ABE ASE classes are offered. And then our other location is over at Dixon. And so this is just giving you an idea of the classes that we offer and the times that we're open. So we are pretty much open from 9 to 9, Monday through Thursday. And the English language classes that are offered over at Dixon, so their classes are primarily in the morning from 9 to 12, Monday through Thursday, and then in the evening, Monday through Thursday, usually from 6 to 9. So they also offer online classes because a lot of their students have children and don't have childcare, so that's a really helpful offering for them. So what is the value of adult education? So this is, these are some of my thoughts. I think that learning English facilitates greater parental communication with their children's school and the community. I feel like once you learn to speak the language of the community, I feel like you have the tools to engage more. I also believe that it provides a path for students that did not graduate with their cohort, which leads to improved employment opportunities. And it also signifies to the people in their life the importance of education, which I think is a significant value. So these are just a few little statistics. So once a person, on average, if a person graduates from high school, they make $10,000 more a year. 47% of students that take the GED go on to higher education.
That's awesome.
So our goals for the 2025 year are to increase student engagement and retention. So we are going to survey our students to find out what their needs are, and then respond to those needs. And then we're going to be more, we're going to be reaching out to students more regularly when they've missed a class. And then we also want to increase our visibility with our stakeholders. I want to work with the 2 comprehensive high schools and the alternative high school so that the counselors and the administrators we can work together, because there may be students that may be headed my way, and I think it would be great to facilitate that. So I'm celebrating our 266 level gains, and then I just wanted to show you our growth as far as graduation. So in 22, we had 28 graduates, and in 23 we had 46, and then in 24 we had 70. And so that has increased by 52% in 2 school years. So our challenges, so as I pointed out at the beginning, we had over 1,000 students enroll, but they didn't stay with us. And so that's something that we really want to focus on. And I will just add, most of our students do work, and most of our students do have families. So it's challenging. This is huge. So you guys all know that today was the first day of school. How is this possible? Over 500 students on the waiting list for ESL classes. And we don't have, right now we don't have funding to add more classes. 500, that's a lot. And it's August 13th, anyway. So we are grateful for the use of Dixon, but we know that as far as I understand, it's a 2-year thing. And so we would like to have a future home. So I would just like you to keep that in mind. Okay, and so our next steps are to build relationships with our students to encourage retention, and we want to be really careful about targeting our students' academic needs so that we can assist them in improving their academic skills. Okay, are there any questions?
Questions from the board?
Yeah, I just have a question about the funding. When there's 500 people on the waiting list, where do we actually get the funding for this program?
So adult education is funding, so there's just an adult education allocation, a lump sum that is divvied out to all the adult education programs in the state. So right now, we don't have adequate funding to get those 500 students in class. But this year, I did request a supplemental grant to increase the number of classes. And so I don't know if they will say yes to me again for another. That's the way to grow, is to keep asking for supplemental grants, but we'll see.
So it's not necessarily based on need or size of what's going on in a certain district. It's just
so I can explain the situation, and I could say, with this extra money, this is what I'm going to do, but it's the state that decides if they will allocate it. And it is there are limited resources. I believe there's about, okay, don't quote me because it might be off by 2 million, but there's like 16 million for all adult education in the state.
So it's a small amount for what the needs actually are.
Yes.
Okay.
And sorry to follow up on that. Is that 16 million divided based on need or size of district, or how's that divided up?
So it is, the state a few years ago, just because adult education programs, because of funding where it was more heavily on outcomes, and when we talk about outcomes in adult education, we are talking about those level gains, and we're also talking about graduation. So it was more heavily on outcomes, and so you can see when a program might have a bad year, their funding would go really low. And that's really difficult for a program because it can get in what we call, unfortunately, a death spiral, so that you get less money and then you're not serving as many people and then you're getting less money. Anyway, so a few years ago, the state did decide to move to a stability model. And so the bulk of our funding is based on the previous year with just 5% based on outcomes.
So is this something that as a board we could help by going to our legislatures to help up the funding?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
And just for information, you were awarded an additional $170,000 this year.
Right.
Thank you for being here. I think this is so helpful to learn more about what you do and the students that you help. So I think maybe my question was already answered by the previous ones, because the 52% increase in your graduation rates is fantastic. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I was going to ask, do we have significantly more students, or is it the way we were supporting those students? But it sounds like it's probably more the second one.
I think it was both. I think it was a combination. So our program did get small during COVID, and it's taken some time for students to come back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Nikki.
Okay. That's great. All right. Time for public input. Have we received any forms, Bonnie? No. No forms. All right. Okay, then we will go ahead and close the public input. And before we move on to our business items, we actually need to revert back to items 18 and 19 from our study session agenda. And that should just take a couple quick minutes. Item number 18 is the consent calendar review. So were there any questions on the consent calendar this month?
I have one. I know, shocking.
Okay, Melanie.
I don't know if this is even possible, but I was looking at the homeschool report, and I don't know if this, but did we see an increase or a jump in homeschooling because of the Utah Fits All scholarship? I don't know if that's something that you could answer for me later. I'm just curious.
Okay, it sounds like that's something we're going to need to look into, right? Okay.
And I also noticed on that report, there's an unknown category.
Yeah, I wondered about
Can they explain what unknown is?
Is Doug here?
It's on the homeschool list, right? The
Student services question, Jason's not here, but I can ask them.
So we'll have to get these answers from Jason.
Okay. Okay, great. I should know that. Any further questions regarding the consent calendar?
Yes.
Go ahead, Terry.
I noticed on the June warrant summary, the Mountain States School Book Depository. Is this what we buy books from Alpine? Is that what that is?
No, the Mountain State School Book Depository is actually where we buy textbooks. So
Okay.
this is the ELA adoption
Okay.
that was approved a couple months ago. This is the purchase of those materials for 6 to 12.
Because that was one of the questions I got asked last week at the neighborhood meeting was, how will a split of Alpine affect us? And I know we do buy some books.
We buy things from their warehouse, like paper and Kleenex and Band-Aids. At this point, I don't see a huge impact we don't really buy a lot of books from Alpine.
This, though?
Yep, so the Alpine School District checks are generally, especially at the beginning of the school year, are just for basic school supplies. They give us a good deal on things that they used to go to Office Depot to buy. And we tried to, after one of our secretaries was in an accident going and buying cases of spiraled notebooks, we asked them to weigh the cost and the risk of going and picking those things up.
Okay, and then in the July warrant summary was spelled wrong, first of all. And then there was just a lot of money spent in July. Evans, Grader, and Paving. I saw that there were 2 payments to Canyon Crest, for Canyon Crest at $789,000, $337.05 for just the 2.
So they were 2 different fiscal years. One was the work through June 30th. The rest was the work through July. So
Gotcha. Okay, and then I saw the helical piers, but I'm just like, that's a lot of money for a parking lot.
it was significantly all of the structural stuff inside the parking lot, the fill dirt that was inside it, the reconstruction of the way the parking and the parent pickup was. So.
And then I noticed there were 2 payments for Field Turf USA for Timpview. Is that
Same thing.
Same
except,
because
yep,
it's 2
2 fiscal years.
Okay. And then same with Utah Tile and Roofing for Centennial.
Same, 2 fiscal years.
And then there's Mobile Modular.
Yep, that's the purchase of the modular unit up at Grandview that was approved a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. In my head, I'm thinking it's a cell phone. Why would a cell phone cost $175,000?
Not that kind of mobile.
Okay.
This is.
More of a mobile home.
All right. Those are all my questions.
Okay. Any other questions for Devin?
I do have a question that I feel like I probably already know, so I'm just going to be ignorant and you can tell me again. But I really appreciated the way a lot of this, first of all, I feel like in the past on some of these warrants, I like that there's the description right underneath of what they are for a lot of the large disbursements anyway. And I liked under the P cards too that I could look at that. But will you explain to me, does a school have a P card with just like, here's your budget on this, for example, or do they have to get those things approved only if they're over a certain amount?
So
or up to a certain amount
So
total?
P cards, their limits are $5,000, which is our purchasing limit for getting bids. And so each of the schools, they have multiple P cards that they can check out to teachers. So we're not doing as many teacher reimbursements.
Right.
So they check out the cards and then can use them for their activities. So, and then they'll go in and charge it to whatever budget is appropriate. So if you look, for example, if you look at June's, there's one for Dixon or Centennial for the hotel at Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So that gets put towards their Washington, D.C. budget.
Up to the $5,000 limit on that P card.
Except for the travel. The travel is an exception because those would be splitting invoices, which is not legal, so.
And then do we usually have the EFT, like this looks like payroll hit this report?
Yep, and that we always have the payroll, it's just not with people. Yep, so
Thank you.
most of those are done ACH, that's kind of our policy, but there are a few checks, especially after payrolls run, that we will run as a regular check.
And were there some things listed in June that actually were payroll though, where there were a lot of names in a row with a similar amount?
A lot of the, so in prior months, like next month, you'll see a ton of checks for $500 for all of the K-6 teachers from the teacher supply. So generally, if you see something that is the same dollar amount, it's for the same purpose.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, thank you so much, Devin, for answering all of our questions there. We appreciate that. All right, now we can go ahead and look at item number 19, the upcoming board calendar items. So there's just 4, and one of them has already happened, which is the first day of school. So now we're down to 3 items. And that just, what we have listed here is our 3 future business study session and business meetings, which are coming up on August 27th, September 10th, and September 27th. And the September 27th meeting is an all-day board meeting, so.
Are we missing USBA regional meeting? I was just going to ask.
Yeah, that we just found out about that, so we'll get that added to the calendar.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, moving on then to our business items this evening, section E of our business meeting. We'll start with item number 1 today, consideration to approve policy on electronic meetings. And Wendy, do you mind summarizing?
I'll let Jennifer
Or
summarize
Jennifer?
it.
Okay, I forgot who was on which.
It's really okay. There were so many.
All right, so this policy is just bringing into line with the new legislation that came out, making some adjustments with that. We did talk in our study session about the word all as far as electronic meetings. I looked back, found it in the code, and that's how it's phrased in code. So I would say that we leave it the same in the policy, and then I think the way that we interpret it would be
The same as we do for
as
a regular
board
meeting.
Right, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve policy 1420 as discussed in open meetings tonight. All right.
Do we need to say study session?
As in session. I just read it.
Yeah.
I move that we approve policy 1420 as discussed in study session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that you, Lisa?
Yep.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Any further comments, starting with Board Member Hales, if there's any?
I waive.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. That wasn't a potion, it was a motion, so we're, all right.
But it's so magical.
It's so magical. We are having a
Magical
magical year
year.
so far, so maybe we should make these potions. All right. All kidding aside, let's go ahead and vote on our second business item tonight. This is a consideration to approve a policy, and this policy is regarding disclosures and financial conflicts of interest.
So this policy is really just creating a very specific policy about board members and conflicts of interest, particularly just getting favors or compensation or having anything that's going to create an ethical or monetary conflict of interest. And we kind of talked about that in study session, so.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve policy 1630 as discussed in study session tonight.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Van Wagenen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we're going with Jennifer Partridge on that one. Second by Board Member Partridge. Any further discussion, starting with Board Member Van Wagenen, if there's any?
No.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Business item number 3, consideration to approve the student surveys policy.
So we're aligning our student surveys policy so that it is, all parents have to opt into non-academic surveys. We did kind of discover a little bit of some questions about, our student board members were awesome about bringing up some situations where they actually do survey students to try to make sure that they're meeting student body needs. So I'm just wondering if we might need to shove that back to policy committee to clean that up a little bit and bring it back for August 27th. That would kind of be my recommendation there so that we make sure we have real true clarity for all of our employees regarding the policy.
So I think we can just table that if everyone feels okay with that. Do we need an official
Yeah, I think we have to make a motion.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to table policy 7140.
Okay. Is there a second, or motion made by Board Member Hall? Is there a second on that?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hales. We'll go ahead and table that after and send it to the policy committee and wait on that one. Okay, great. Thank you. Business item number 4, consideration to approve a policy currently titled kindergarten readiness.
It's really a toilet training policy for our kindergartners, just ensuring that our kindergartners are ready for school and that they know how to use bathroom facilities appropriately, and that we'll work with students who have disabilities in that process. So,
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve policy 3170 with the change that the title would be kindergarten student toilet training, as discussed in study session.
Okay. Motion there made by by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Board Member McCabe. Any further discussion, starting with Board Member Partridge, if there's any?
I just suggested the title change so that it's clear when you're looking through policies what, if you click on that one, what it's going to be about.
Okay. Any other comments? Great. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Item number 5, consideration to approve of another policy. This is the kindergarten half-day policy.
So this is just lining out our procedure and policy for kindergarten half-day. We already offer a half-day option and just making sure that students that choose the half-day option still have access to the curriculum that is state approved for half-day students.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve policy 3005 as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Boyce. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Any further discussion, starting with your name always gets me. Board Member Boyce, if there's any. Board Member Boyce. Okay. Anyone else? Great, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. All right, item number 6, consideration to approve the UELP plan.
I'm just going to let Michelle talk to this one.
Michelle, if you want to give us a quick summary, if you don't mind. What were those letters?
You've been sitting here so nicely.
And she's so cute.
Good evening. I am just here to put before you the district's Utah Early Learning Plan that involves all of kindergarten through 3rd grade students in all of our schools. There are 2 local goals that we have to set annually, and those 2 are both included in your documents there. So I'm just here to get your approval on that plan.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the Utah Early Learning Plan as discussed in study session.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hales. Any further discussion, starting with Board Member Partridge, if there's any?
Just thank you for your great detail in the study session about that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm so thrilled that I know this is a extra set of paperwork for everyone, but also I just love the spotlight that it shines on early learning and making sure that our kids are where they need to be in those first few grades. So I think it's awesome. Thanks for your work. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Michelle. All right, item number 7, a consideration to approve a large purchase request. This is regarding the Timpview High School parking lot. Devin?
This is just a purchase for the infill that had to be added to decrease the depth of the asphalt at the Timpview parking lot. So it could be used for the few years while we decide about the next phase.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the large purchase request in the amount of $306,154 for work of the Timpview High School parking lot structural infill.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Any further comments or discussion, starting with Board Member Hall? If there's any? None? Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Not last item, just kidding. Second to last item, consideration to approve a large purchase request. This is regarding the pre-construction cost for Wasatch Elementary.
And this is just the cost that Hogan has asked to have reimbursed to them for all of the costs that they incurred in pre-construction with the length of time that it dragged out before we actually started the project. The original request was a little over $200,000. They're asking for $75,000.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the large purchase request in the amount of $75,000 for the pre-construction costs for Hogan.
Okay, thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Van Wagenen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Any further discussion, starting with Board Member Van Wagenen, if there's any?
Just want to thank Devin for working on this and working with them to kind of figure that out.
Okay, we'll vote on this. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Next, we'll go ahead and I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'm trying to find it. I move that we approve the items on this consent calendar.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any further comments or questions on this?
I have been with boards who are not.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and vote. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. All right. Item G on our agenda this evening is the Business Administrator Report. So we'll give the time to Devin Daly.
So I am choosing today to highlight our maintenance department. I had them send me a list of their summer projects. So if anybody wants to know, I'll just give you a little bit of a highlight. So Spring Creek, they did sheetrock repair and paint in all classrooms, replaced the kitchen makeup air unit. Provost received the pour and play. They did parking lot seal coat and striping and restriped all of the basketball courts on the playground. Wasatch, they removed 3 dump trailers of surplus. Rock Canyon, they did the parking lot seal coat and striping and pour and play. Edgemont, same. Canyon Crest, we did the helical pier installation, and the new parking lots replaced the main sewer line, which was also part of that project, updated the water main and the meter, and then finished the installation of the new gym partition. Centennial, they did the roof membrane, moved furniture for 14 classrooms, replaced the pavement on the bus loop, parking lot seal coat and striping. Tent View, besides the regular construction, did the field turf football field, replaced the sod on the soccer practice field and striped the northwest parking lot and added parking stalls by the special ed wing. Amelia, a new playground equipment. That was over spring break, replaced flooring in 2 classrooms, replaced the kitchen makeup air unit, demoed old playground equipment, and the list just goes on and on. So our maintenance department works really hard all summer long to make sure that all of our schools are ready for the fall. And sometimes it's a little bumpy the first couple weeks of school, but they really have worked hard this summer to make sure a lot of those projects get finished.
Great. Thank you so much. Item H on our agenda is Board Member Roundtable. These will be our reports on board member assignments. I guess we'll start with Melanie.
The only thing I can think of is that Rebecca and I are going to be working on updating the board handbook. So if you have things that you feel like needs to be updated, feel free to shoot us an email.
Okay. Gina.
I will report on our student board members. They're here today. This is their first meeting. Thank you for being here. I feel like last year was an experiment, but I don't feel like it's any less of an experiment this year. So you are my second group of guinea pigs. Thank you. But I asked them to just quickly, if it's okay, to just talk really quickly about the things that they're excited about really quickly, and then what they'd like to accomplish this school year. Is that okay?
Absolutely. You want to go ahead and come on up to the podium here?
Yeah, come together.
I am Monica To'ona, and I am the students board member. I just want to thank you all for choosing me to be on this board member. I'm really excited to be hand in hand with you guys. I think the biggest thing I want from this year is to spread awareness about my position. I didn't realize this was a position until, well, when it first started, but even with that, I didn't know what came with it. So this year I want to work really hard to spread all awareness to all 2,400 students of Tent View High School, along with Provo High and the younger school districts.
Thank you.
My name is Hutch Follett. I am the student board representative for Provo High. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve in this capacity, and one of the biggest things I am looking forward to is just being on this side of the decision-making process. Before this, I was never in student gov. I wasn't really involved in that area of the school, and so to see this side of the policies that are being passed, I think will be a real good learning experience for me, as well as just being around you guys and just seeing how things are run and things are done.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all I got.
Meg?
Great. I guess, Jennifer, I'll report quickly on our cell phone. Jennifer and I worked a little bit on coming up with talking points about our potential cell phone policy and how we want to help communicate that out to parents and the community in a way that they can engage in the conversation and have some talking points, as well as we worked on summarizing the draft policy just so people could see it and be able to say, okay, this is kind of the idea. Then they are able to have something to actually give feedback on. So that's kind of that's the only thing I have to report on that I did in July. Summer.
Thank you. We've all been on summer break, so if we have short reports, that's fine. Jennifer?
Well, I first want to give a shout out to all the members of the policy committee, which is our district leadership team and some of our other district directors and things, and then a few of the board members here too. Just working so hard with all of the many policy updates that we need to be doing with the legislation that happened this year, and I just appreciate your hard work. Even over summer, you guys have been like knocking it out, so thank you so much. For Utah School Board Association responsibilities, I did send out an email today with a lot of details, but I did want to highlight our legislator day in the classroom. And our legislative committee will be working on this, but we'll be reaching out to our local legislators and inviting them in. It's the last week of September, and giving them something to do while they're in the classroom, not just to look, but hopefully we can get them to talk to the students or teach or do something, right? And the association's committee that's worked really hard on this, they have drafted up a declaration that they're submitting to the governor, hoping that he will officially declare that week. And the House President, Speaker of the House, sorry, my brain's not working tonight. He is totally supportive of this and is encouraging our legislators to participate in that. So, and then as Terry mentioned a little bit ago, we found out our fall regional meeting will be on Wednesday, September 25th at 6 p.m. at the same location we are at last year. And then the National School Board Association Conference, which is in April in Atlanta. And they've shifted the dates. So now it used to end on a Monday. Now it's going to end on a Sunday. The registration opens September 4th. So we'll start looking at that once we get through all the back to school stuff, right?
I just have a question. Are they going to if you make the legislators teach, do they have to follow the supplemental materials policy that they passed?
They do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Thanks.
Do they have to be fingerprinted? Fingerprinted.
All right, Terry.
The foundation golf tournament is on September 26th. So, if you like golfing, please sign up so we can raise money.
I think our legislators, as part of being in our classroom that week, should visit on the 25th and then golf with us on the 26th to help raise money for our after-school programs. So if you like to golf, come on in.
Yep. As on the safety committee, I set up a special tour for the police department and the fire department on July 29th for Shoreline Middle School, and that was really helpful to have them there and to tell us about keeping our school safe. And also Sergeant Sorensen from the Utah County Sheriff's Department, who's our county school safety person. He was also there. He is the person for the county who will be doing inspections that is required by HB 84, and they're due by December 31st. So it was good to have him already in the school. Yay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Lisa?
I really don't have much to add right now. I mean, I would just encourage people to come and golf, because I'm really hoping that we can fund. I don't know if people are aware of all the things our foundation does, but I know there are a lot of needs in our district right now, and especially I get excited about the teacher grants and being able to give our teachers extra money to run labs and more experiential learning opportunities for their students. So the more people sign up to come and golf on the 26th of September, the more we're able to help give extra money out to our teachers.
Okay, Great. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. Item I, our superintendent's report.
So we do have some overnight travel. Some of it's already taken place. So Provo High's football team in June was down in Cedar City. And then we have girls tennis from Provo High that's going next week. And then we have ballroom and also drama and dance company from Provo High traveling in September and October. So none of those are out of state travel. I need to make a confession that Timpview High School turned in a whole bunch of travel forms, which I read through very thoroughly. And I approved all of them, and I did not hand them to Bonnie, and she did not record them, and we gave them back to the school, and we have no idea where they are. But I do know that I approved a volleyball trip, and yes, I do know that the volleyball trip was approved for the first week of school, because we have always, like, there's nothing in our policy that prevents that from happening, and we've approved football trips and things like that, and I just didn't feel like we could start to discriminate. So if we want to look at that in the future, because that's creating some consternation and say there are certain weeks that travel can't happen, then we would need to revisit that student travel policy. So that is my bad. I will work with Bonnie and Daryl to get all of that fixed. I'm sorry about that. As for our report for this month, I'm super excited about the start of school. We were out in all 18 schools today. It was fantastic. The energy was really good. You got to check out the reel. We got pictures everywhere. Kids were awesome. It was so fun to be in elementary schools and to watch them teaching procedures. We've really done a good job of trying to emphasize the need for our PBIS system to be reinforced throughout our schools. And so to watch them, like, I learned at Spring Creek Elementary that you go flush, wash. Like, there's 3 steps when you go to the bathroom. And it was really great to watch that in action, especially as primarily a secondary person. And just to welcome all of our teachers back last week and just to feel their energy and enthusiasm and see them in front of kids. I really do want our schools to be the most magical place for them to be, and also for our employees. Like, I hope they're feeling the love. And then there were like thousands of people literally that helped with our classified lunch last Friday just to pull that off. And all I had to say is I would like to do a lunch for our classified staff, and Bonnie and like 80,000 people came together and made that happen. So everything just demonstrates what an incredible place this is to work and how much people step up and help one another and just want to make it a great place. So I'm excited for this year. So here we go.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and we're ready to adjourn this meeting. I'll just entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the business meeting.
Thank you so much. Motion made by Board Member Hales. We are adjourned. Sweet. He did it.